Well, welcome back from the Christmas break before we leave for the New Year's break. I'll call this meeting to order. Rosa, would you call the roll, please?
Supervisor Long?
Here.
Supervisor Zaragoza?
Here.
Supervisor Parks?
Here.
Supervisor Foy?
Here.
Supervisor Bennett?
Here. Ms. Cohen, would you like to lead us in the pledge, please?
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Agenda review. I know it's a complicated agenda.
Well, I just wanted to make one note for the board.
There is a change.
Well, there's not a change.
Okay.
There's not really a change to the agenda. There's
All
just
right.
a note that I have passed out a letter from the City of Thousand Oaks, and there is one on file with the clerk of the board. And it's regarding, it says it's regarding the December 29th board agenda, but it's really regarding the waiver agreement and termination.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you very much. Any other modifications to the agenda? We need a motion to accept the agenda as it stands. We have a motion. It's not showing up on here. There we go. All right, it's been moved and seconded. We're ready to vote on the agenda. We had no minutes to approve, so our tense moment has been avoided. And that,
She's so much nicer.
That's right.
Quietly.
That's right. That's right. We better enjoy it. It won't last long. I can see her assertiveness growing right now by the second here down there. All righty. Public comments. Do we have any public speaker cards? We do. Okay. Oh, there we go. Good. Kathy Thompson. All right. Kathy, welcome. Good morning.
Good morning. It's
If you stand in between the two of them, that's the best.
Okay.
There you go.
Well, I'm here to give you a status report on, do I get 5 minutes?
5 minutes.
Oh, okay. A library status report for the city of Ventura. We've gone through a lot of feelings in the last month as our beloved Wright Library was closed. And I guess the feeling that we mostly have is that we feel like we've been insulted. We feel like the rest of the county and on the Library Commission has decided for us what our level of library service should be. I'm going to tell you right now that many of the people on the Library Commission maybe have never spent time in Ventura to see what it's actually like to live there. And you don't have an understanding of our community and how vital this resource is to our citizens, particularly our children and our seniors and the students that use that library. Apparently the Library Commission decided that we have an abundance of library service. Well, frankly, closing a small library of Wright has left us with 1/3 of a square foot per citizen, woefully inadequate compared to the rest of the county. I think the Library Commission is a little bit swayed to the voters on the Library Commission are swayed to the Port Hueneme, Fillmore, Camarillo side of the county. Port Hueneme Library is a lovely library. I've been to it. It's beautiful, new, fresh. But there are several other libraries within that area. There's the Oxnard Library, a big, beautiful library, and then there's another library just down the street, a county library. So they have basically 3 libraries in their vicinity also. So saying that Ventura had too many libraries is just not adequate. Foster's not serving our community. It's not family friendly, despite their efforts to try to make it family friendly. I've heard many instances from the personnel as they go out the back door. There's marijuana smoking. There's still the urinating. And it's just not being monitored correctly. And families do not want to go there. Now, Saticoy is a cute little library, way on the east end of Ventura. I've been there. I go there to pick up my books now. It's cute. It operates wonderfully for that community, and I would love to have a little double-wide trailer somewhere in the east end of Ventura right now so we can access a library, but we have to go to opposite ends of the city to get our library use. Ventura bears an inordinate burden as the county seat, and to take our library away is just another burden. The argument, under your watch, and I've heard this from inside personnel because I've done a lot of research, the library director went on a spending spree. The personnel has increased from almost, the benefits for personnel are about 33% of outstanding salary payroll, which in 2008 was $4.6 million. And 33% of that is benefits. $4.6 million could do a lot to keep our library open. All we need is $280,000 to keep that library open under our current return to source revenue picture. Also, inside sources have told me that she went on a database spending spree when they asked how much the Morningstar database cost. $100,000. That's 1/3 of our budget at Wright. We're not serving the citizens by going on a technological spending spree. I've spoken to a lot of kids. This is just what I collected in just a few minutes at Anacapa. Middle school students. Reopen Wright. A couple other just brief points while I'm running out of time. Linda Parks, you said that we need to look for new services and partnerships to increase the viability in your Resource for All library statement. A consultant report back in 97 said that Ventura requires 60 to 80,000 square feet to provide adequately for studying and reading. We now have 35,000 square feet. And this is the organizational chart. We are way too top-heavy, spending way too much money on personnel and not serving the citizens by closing the Wright Library. Thank you.
Thank you very much for taking time to come down and
Thank you for having this meeting on
inform
a
us of
free
this.
day when I don't have to take kids to school.
All right. Great. Take care. All right. That ends our public testimony, and we are now at board comments. Supervisor Foy.
Thank you. I hope everybody had a wonderful holiday, and it was very enjoyable. I do want to adjourn a memory of a person on this list, and one is call out Paula Rodriguez. Paula is the daughter of city manager Mike Siddell, who suddenly died on December 26th, and it was a tragic thing. He's having dinner with her on Christmas night, and had a wonderful time, he said, and then went home and got a call at 7 o'clock in the morning from his son-in-law that his daughter had died. She's 42 and has 2 daughters herself. So I'd like to adjourn in memory of her. So thank you.
I hope you'll pass on our regrets to Mr. Siddell. He's certainly been a good partner with the Board of Supervisors and stuff. Yeah, right. Supervisor Parks?
I actually have no comments.
Supervisor Zaragoza?
Well, I just wanted to share, thank everybody for Santa to the Sea. We had quite a few runners that ran the other day to help our kids over in Island Acres. We had over 1,500 gifts that were collected from the runners, and the folks. So I just want to thank them and all the volunteers. And Mike Barber for doing a great job there in Island Acres. And also I just want to share that with everybody that I have my granddaughter and my daughter and grandkids who are from Fort Worth, Texas, have been here with us since the 23rd, and she's a runner too, so she got kind of angry with me because I didn't call her about that marathon, but she's here and we're having a great time, and I would just tell everybody here in the county and all the staff that we're gonna have a good year and Happy New Year.
Great. Thank you. Supervisor Long.
Yes, good morning and thank you, and hope you all had a wonderful Christmas holiday, and looking forward to the new year. I have an adjourn a memory list to present and call out 2 people. One, Leonor Diaz-Baca, Santa Paula, volunteered as a Spanish interpreter at our very own Santa Paula Hospital. And on Camarillo, Suzanne Enid Schindler, lifetime member, active participant in our AAUW University Women, and longtime teacher at Adolfo Camarillo High School, and others on this list. And I ask that we adjourn in memory of them. And that's it. We're keeping it short today. I know
And
there's
Back to Supervisor
I
Zergo.
also have a list of, I'd like to adjourn in memory of the folks on this list. Thank you.
Okay. And I'm sorry to report to the board that a woman that we had in this room about a year ago to recognize Lainey Springer for a great service in Oakview passed away, and her service is this morning at 10 o'clock. So unfortunately, Supervisor Foy and myself will both be attending services this morning during this holiday season. I'd like to welcome everybody back like I did before, and the only other thing I'd like to read into the record is I was back home with my mom, and she was recognized as the Volunteer of the Year in Indianapolis East Side for her work on 46 community garden plots that she put together and stuff, and so it was really fun to see that. We are now ready to move on to...
Let me ask you, how was the weather back there?
I was glad to get back, I'll tell you. Yeah, they were not. So we're now ready for our item 7. That's our 8:30 time certain item on adoption of the ordinance establishing qualifications for the treasurer. Do we have any speaker cards? All right, we have no speaker cards. We simply need to... do we have the vote and then read it the second time?
You don't need a reading this time. All you need is a motion and a vote.
Okay, great.
Mr. Chair, bringing this forward for the second hearing, adoption of the ordinance, as we had full discussion when it was introduced, I would make the motion that we move on the adoption.
I'll second that, and we're ready to vote. And this vote again passes 4-1 with same vote as last
I
time.
just would like to
Supervisor
comment,
Parks?
because there's been so much discussion on this, that my vote personally is not based on the individual, but rather the need, I believe, as a fiscally conservative person to make sure that we have qualifications for a position that is incredibly important to the county's finances.
Thank you. That motion has passed. We're now at item 8, which is a second hearing of the COES ordinance. Do we have any speakers? No. We are ready for a motion on that item.
Mr. Chair,
Supervisor Zaragoza.
can I make some comments, please?
Sure.
Mr. Chair, I want to thank you for the opportunity to say a couple of words here. I first want to thank Mike Powers and Dr. Bob Gonzalez and Terry Stanley and all the county health agency workers that have worked so diligently on this project, and also the constituents, our hospital representatives, doctors, Mr. Juarez, and other representatives from nonprofit organizations. I had two goals in mind with this issue. First, I want to support a system that provides cost-effective, affordable, excellent health care for all the community, and especially the most vulnerable in the community. And also I wanted all the stakeholders to be in the same page with us. So 2 weeks ago I voted no against this because at that time we didn't have consensus from everybody, all the stakeholders. So I really wanted to see how we could obtain the okay from all the stakeholders to make this really work. And so I just want to share with you that we've reached consensus. It's my understanding that some of the major stakeholders have agreed to move forward with the COES, to work with us. And I'd like to read an excerpt from Roberto Juarez that he sent me the other day, and to share with the folks. And I'm going to quote this. It says, "Dear Supervisor Zaragoza, on behalf of our board of directors and me, we want to thank you for your support and being open to input from many of our constituents. Clínicas Camino del Real Incorporated accepts the decision made by the Board of Supervisors. We must work together towards a common goal.
making the Coles work for the target population. Work as a partners, we can accomplish more than working as cross purposes with each other. We strongly support your leadership and is appreciated. Respectfully, Robert Juarez, and he's, of course, the executive officer of Clínicas. So I think that those two goals that I was looking at have providing the cost-effective, affordable health care system for all of us here has worked, and also second, that we got all the stakeholders on board, and because of that, the letter that he sent, and because all of us are working together, I want to join the board, and supporting the Coles. And I want to thank everybody for all their work that they have done.
Well, thank you. That's good to hear. You bring up that topic, and we had some conversation last time. I think I just want to ask County Council this question, and that is, if we talked about we need people to step forward and cooperate on this Coles Commission. Would it be possible for the board at some later date to change the makeup of the commission if it felt that it needed to make sure that we had a smooth functioning commission?
Our reading of the statute indicates that your board could do that.
Great, thank you. Well, I hope I hope this is a sign of everybody taking to heart the comments that we made about the need for a real professional behavior and work on this Codes, and that's certainly a great start. So thank you for your good work with.
And Mr. Chair, I also want to add, is one of my goals, and all of us, is to form partnerships and collaboration with individuals, organizations, and so forth. And you and I were in that meeting too, with Mr. Juarez, and when we talked about this issue, and we're going back and forth, and Mike was there with us and the rest of the group. So I think that we forged out a good compromise, and it worked.
Great. Well, thanks for your help and pulling together that one more step in this thing. Yeah. With that, we're ready for a motion and get this Codes thing on to the next step, which I'm sure there's a ton of work to be done. And I think everybody's happy that as we start into 2010, you can focus on doing the work and not focus on the process of getting the Codes set up. So we have a motion and a second, and we're ready to vote. 5-0, go out and do good work, all right? All right. Thank you very much. I do want to compliment our staff again. I think they handle themselves very professionally, and lots of challenges and trying circumstances moving this Codes thing along. It required going to the federal government, getting special legislation, then having all of the stakeholder outreach, and so now you get to do what you're much better at, which is start focusing on actually providing that good care through the Codes and stuff for those patients and stuff. So good luck.
I have one comment. And I, too, want to say congratulations getting this thing done. I know how much work it is. And I just, as somebody got a little involved with you, the fears on all sides is difficult. Sometimes, we hate the process, but we love the result. And so I'm looking for what this result comes. And I know you got a lot of work ahead. And I know from the private care and us as a public care, it's all going to work out. We'll get through it all. It'll make it work, and it'll just be wonderful for the county. So congratulations. A lot of hard work ahead of you. Thanks.
Supervisor Parks.
I just also wanted to say thank you also for keeping the board so well in the loop and so informed. And I think that really portends for the future in terms of having good communication. And I think that's going to help all the stakeholders also. So thank you for that.
All righty. We have the motion, the second. We had the vote. And we're on to the emergency item.
Chair Bennett, excuse me, members of the board, Ms. Robinson, Barry Fisher, Public Health. I'm giving Laura a reprieve today, so I told her I'd come up and do this. Requesting an additional 2-week extension for the H1N1 emergency.
If it wasn't for that, we wouldn't have had this meeting to have the other two items get handled. We're ready for a motion and to extend
I just have one question.
Yes.
How are we doing out there? I know we opened up to a wider public for the access to the vaccine, and
Yes, we're still continuing with our roadshow around the county, providing vaccinations. Our public health clinics are still doing about 500 people a day. So people are still coming to us for the vaccine. We're going to reevaluate where we stand after the first of the year once the school children come back to school and start to congregate again. And now we're actually getting into the real flu season. So we're keeping our fingers crossed that it is mild, hopefully.
Good, thank you. Move the...
Great.
Can I make one quick one?
Yes.
I just had the opportunity out in Simi. Barry's had a couple of these events, one up at the mall and one over at the rec center, and very well organized, running a lot of people through quickly, and even with a few of the screams out there, people getting shots. It's amazing that there's a lot more adults screaming than the kids, but it's great to see, and it's well done. So thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
The CEO reminds me that now, as we go into 2010, it'll be a 30-day renewal instead of an every 2-week renewal.
Oh.
So
Good. Laura says yeah.
well, if you were going to come, Barry could have taken today off, right? I mean, come on here, right? So anyway, that, of course, that's one of those things that happens on somebody else's shift. It's a little bit like that electronic signature thing, right? It's coming. It's coming, right? Yeah, exactly. So I want to take credit for that one here. All right. All righty. I think we've got the motion and second. We're ready to vote. And then we simply need a motion to receive and file a correspondence agenda.
So moved.
Motion, second. We're ready to vote. And that passes, and we hope we don't see you people until next year. All right.
You all
Take
have
care.
a happy and safe New Year.
That's right.
Thank you.
Thank you
Take
for
care,
being here.
everybody. All right. Thank you again.